Hi everybody, I'm just making this video which has been inspired by Art Alien TV Marzo, who very kindly made a video covering this picture of a strange finding on Mars, and it was shown widely through the media as the floating spoon, and you can see there's a shadow underneath it, and you can see there's other bits that are floating as well, really, you know. I do suggest that you watch this video. I'll leave you the link because he does a much better job with the images, because he can enhance them and things, which, you know, I haven't got the apps to do that. But it's a very interesting image, and he does provide us links to go and see the raw image, which actually looks a lot clearer here. And we can see that there's evidence to me that suggests this could be fossilised bone, like a fossilised creature. Though, you know, it could be just very strangely worn rock. But just to broaden the theory a bit, here are some. This is an image of a fossilised creature found on Earth, and you can see how the skeleton and even some of the skin texture has fused into the rock. And there's another similar example here that's still being, you know, dug out of the rock. And these are some fossilised crinoids. And here is a fossil creature, prehistoric creature, that was recently uncovered from the cliffs at Lavernock, which are sedimentary strata rocks. So, you know, when we look at these rocks, we can see the sediments in between, and each layer represents a period of time. And fossils are most commonly found in between these layers. And I do really love this image. I love this type of rock because it just reminds me of a book, of books. It's like a library, and I think it's fantastic that, you know, it actually does tell us the story of life over millions and millions of years through each page, you know, with all the fossils that are stored within each page. And it is like a book of life that has been written by Earth, you know, through time, just from the life and processes of Earth through time. So, you know, like I say, this rock, just bear that in mind. And now we're going to have a look at this other image from Mars Curiosity rover, which is quite a recent one, and I'm sure a lot of people have already covered it. But I wanted to make certain connections here, so I've downloaded it onto my computer so I can zoom in, but I'm going to try not to zoom in too much because it just loses quality. But if we look at this image, the first thing that we notice is this layered rock, sedimentary strata rock. And it does look very similar to the kind of sedimentary strata rock that we find on Earth. And then when we look closer at this image, we look closer at these small, what initially look like pebbles, we can't help but notice that they do look very similar to fossilised shells, and perhaps bones even of small prehistoric sea creatures. So I'm just going to scroll you through the picture, and, you know, you can pause it at any time and have a look, because there's so many little points to see. And we can see that these small objects some of them have got intricate designs on them. And as I say, I won't zoom in too much, but we can see that, you know, they could very easily resemble fossilised sea creatures. And then when we come to this section here where the image cuts off, you know, again, this could be a fossilised sea creature, you know. I mean, I could hypothesise that it's some kind of Martian turtle, you know, a leatherback turtle. We can see the patination here and on what could be its front flippers, and here, you know, it looks very much like fossil bones. And on Earth, these are the kind of things that a prehistoric archaeological digger would be keeping an eye out for, because you'd see something like this protruding through the ground somewhere, or like this, which could be a vertebrae. And then you start looking, you notice, oh, it's in sedimentary strata rock, so that's around, so yes, this could be a fossil. And then you start, you know, unearthing a find from one small bone often. And as I say, when we look at this image, which I'm going to zoom out a bit because it's there are some very well, what do look like fossils. I mean, this does look like fossilised bone, and you see how fine these parts are that are protruding from the dust, the ground, you see, and this. So we've got what look very similar to fossilised shells and bones, fossilised skeletons of obviously prehistoric creatures. And we've got the type of sedimentary strata rock that such fossils are stored in. And then we've got and that rock is surrounded by all these what look like very small fossils. So, you know, there comes a point where we need to start putting two and two together, because if we found these on Earth and this type of rock, what could we assume? And so now we're looking at this on Mars, and so we can see that on Earth there's we've got, you know, whole cliff sides of this rock, whereas on Mars perhaps a whole cliffside has exploded. In which case, this is exactly what you would see. You would see remnants of strata rock with lots of very small fossils or other bones lying around it. And I'd really like to see some more discussion from NASA, open public debate and discussion, rather than all of this being kept in the twilight zone. Because why spend all the time and effort to send probes to Mars, studying Mars and sending these images back to Earth, if we're not really going to properly examine them for what they are, and sometimes put two and two together, you know, and say, well, actually, yes, this image is evidence that a very long time ago there was life on Mars, to the extent it was stored in its sedimentary strata rock. We found remnants of the strata rock around, surrounded by objects which look very much like fossilised bone and shells. And let's discuss that, because, you know, these aren't the only images that people have found. So, anyway, thanks for listening. I just wanted to make those connections between the fossils, the type of rock that they're found in, and things that are being discovered on Mars. And you know, for us to have, well, to encourage open debate and to take all of this out of the twilight zone, you know, and let's start getting real about this, because it is fantastic that we can actually see the surface of Mars today. And, you know, it is very, very interesting, and some of the images that are coming forward are, you know, very interesting, and they do suggest that at some point there was life on Mars, and I really would like to well, further debate on the subject. And of course, you know, I could be completely wrong. You know, sometimes you can put two and two together, and even though it does make four, it still doesn't make it right. You know, I could be completely wrong about the fossils, the rock, you know. All I'm saying is that from my perspective, from what I know, that is my conclusion. So thank you for watching. I'll leave you all the links, and thank you again to our Alien TV Marzu, and I wish you all good night. Thank you.